Murder can be habit-forming. My name is Jan Pierre O'Shaughnessy, and I am one of the co-directors, along with Judy Davis, who had the pleasure of directing this show. I think you're going to enjoy it. There's a lot of twists and turns. At this point, I would like to inform you to look for the exits. There are 2 down here and 2 in the back. Should anything catastrophic happen, which it won't, but please file out in an orderly and quiet fashion. Don't trample anybody, just go. We have people videotaping, so if you see wires, try not to trip over them. Also, we will have a 15-minute intermission when the curtain closes, not before. We do have some blackouts before that. When the curtain closes and the house lights go on, we have a 15-minute intermission. We have refreshment stands out in front. Also, I would like to tell you about an omission that was made in the program. Mary Adams is being played by Amalia Chongas, and she was left out of the program, so I wanted to let you know. These people have done a really, really great job. They've worked very, very hard, and I hope you enjoy the show. Thank you very much for coming.
It's the card game, Mary Agatha. Mary Thomas and Mary Martin are playing gin, the card game.
Oh. I've nearly finished the sample I'm making for Reverend Mother. How does it look, Mary Margaret?
Let me see. Oh, dear. You're going to have to pick out one of the letters and re-embroider it. It says, "The lard works in mysterious ways."
It does? Silly me. I don't know where my mind has been lately.
That's a question that confounds us all. Well, sisters, I'm happy to inform you the storm is about to pass over.
Passover? Already? I don't even remember celebrating Christmas.
Give me strength.
It won't be Christmas for 2 more weeks, Mary Agatha. Don't you remember the other sisters took a van from town this morning to shop for gifts?
Oh, yes, I remember. But I've already made all your gifts.
We know. Your sister's Santa Claus. We always love to see you in lovely new clothes we get each year.
But you can't see them until Christmas. I hid them really well this year. I don't recall where I put them.
As usual, we'll help you find them. Again.
Oh, sister, you made the holiday especially festive. It's like combining Christmas with an Easter egg hunt.
Speaking of Easter, that's the holiday we celebrate right now. The nice Jewish ladies we see sometimes at the Bingo Bar in Buffalo are the ones who celebrate Passover. You know the difference between us, don't you?
Of course, dear. We're nuns and they're not.
Close enough.
Shouldn't the other sisters be here soon? It's almost time for Vespers.
No, well, Sister Fabiola called me this evening and said the roads were impassable, so they're having to stay at a motel in town.
At the Red Lantern Motel. We better say extra prayers for them.
Amen to that. I suppose it can't be helped. The storm must have dumped at least another 2 feet of snow on the ground.
I could use a hand here, Mother. I only got 2 hands.
Thank you, Herman. I feel better having a supply of firewood laid in case the electricity should go out.
Surprised it ain't already. The lines down the road are covered in ice.
Oh, my.
Don't worry, sister. There are hatchets all over this place and miles of trees out there.
We're so grateful you were able to make the drive from town this afternoon, Herman.
Well, it wasn't easy with those big flakes and all, but it's my job. When Mr. Beckett was alive, he hired me to come on weekends and do chores. Told him I'd be here through hell and high water. Beg your pardon. I ain't missed a weekend yet.
Well, we appreciate your loyalty, Herman.
You're the boss now, Mother. When Mr. Beckett died and left this place to be your church's new convent, you got me as part of the bargain.
We know.
I ought to hold you for now. I'm getting back to my rooms over at the garage.
Good night, then.
We interrupt this program with sacred music for a special bulletin. The police department has announced that the serial killer known as the Merry Murderer has struck again.
Oh, no.
According to reports, less than an hour ago, a waitress at the Chat Chew Diner, a bus stop near Rochester, New York, was found strangled and hidden under a snowdrift behind the building. The victim, who had the name Mary stitched on the pocket of her uniform, was identified as Mary Wester, 26 of Rochester. The police state that the manner by which she was murdered is consistent with the murders of 10 other women named Mary, which occurred in Manhattan over the last 7 months. They suspect the killer they seek, dubbed the Merry Murderer by the media, has left the city and is possibly fleeing to the Canadian border. All women named Mary are warned to avoid contact with strangers at all costs. We will bring you further information as it becomes available. And now we return to our regularly scheduled program.
How horrible!
You said it, sister.
Did they say something about me? My name is Mary.
No, sister, forget all about it.
That shouldn't be a problem.
We needn't worry. We're miles from the highway. We never have visitors.
Hello, is anybody there?
We have a visitor.
Oh, it looks like, I think it's a group of people.
Oh, they're coming down the driveway.
Maybe it's Christmas carolers. Joy to the
Carolers, in this weather, the lips would turn blue and fall off.
Thank you for the very vivid description, Mary Thomas. I suspect they're travelers who have lost their way in the blizzard. Herman, you had better rescue them and bring them inside.
Might have known you'd send me back out there.
We're having callers? I haven't had a caller since I was a young girl. Should I freshen my makeup?
You're not wearing makeup, Mary Agatha. You haven't worn makeup since you took your vows over 50 years ago.
Oh, I forgot. Well, I could put on some chapstick.
Oh, you don't need anything, sister. You have a perfectly lovely face.
Thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
Herman's almost reached them. They should be here any minute.
Oh, it looks like quite a crowd.
They'll have to spend the night, whoever they are.
Well, they can stay in the other sister's room since they're out of town for the night.
At the Red Lantern Motel.
Don't remind me. But you're right, Mary Margaret. The vacant rooms will make suitable accommodations for the strangers. The Lord works in
Mysterious ways.
Sister Mary Thomas, Sister Mary Martin, will you make sure the rooms have bed linens and blankets?
Of course, Reverend Mother.
Thank you. Sister Mary Margaret, our guests will no doubt be very cold and tired. Would you like preparing them, perhaps, hot coffee and something to eat?
Oh, I'd be happy to, Reverend Mother.
Thank you. I thought you insisted.
And what can I do, Reverend Mother?
I'm working on it.
Oh, I know. I can get the vacuum cleaner and run it over the carpet.
I don't think so, Mary Agatha. The last time you vacuumed, the cat disappeared. Why don't you wait with me and meet our guests?
All right, Reverend Mother.
Here they are, Mother. Nobody but a bunch of old fools to be out in this weather, if you ask me.
Thank you, Herman. That'll do. Welcome to St. Mary's Convent. I'm the Right Reverend Mother, Mary Cecilia.
And I'm Sister Mary Agatha. Joy to the...
Save it, sister. In 2 weeks, you can carol to your heart's content. Right now, we need to meet our guests. Herman, Sister Mary Thomas, and Sister Mary Martin are preparing the spare bedrooms. Will you let me know how many rooms they'll be needing?
You're the boss now, Mother.
Does he always act that way?
No, you caught him in a good mood.
I'm Willard Patterson, ma'am. I mean, Reverend. I was driving these folks from Manhattan to Buffalo when a bunch of deer ran out in front of my bus. It was snowing so hard, I almost didn't see them. When I hit the brakes, we skidded and got stuck on the shoulder.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, if it hadn't been for Mr. McDougal over there, we may have frozen to death. When the snow lit up a bit, we followed the power lines here. They led us to your convent. I'm Mary Bishop.
Oh my, your holiness. Oh.
No, sister, I'm not a bishop. That's just my name. My father is a bishop.
He must belong to a very liberal order.
I'll explain later. Maybe I should have sent you to the kitchen with Mary Margaret. Why don't you go in there and help her now?
All right, Reverend Mother. I look forward to meeting the rest of you later. We see so few people here at the convent. Well, except each other, of course. But I meant real people. Excuse me.
You'll have to make allowances for Sister Mary Agatha. She gets a little confused
Often?
whenever she's awake.
Oh.
You're Miss Bishop?
Yes, I'm a student at St. Mary's College. I was on my way to spend Christmas break with my family in Buffalo.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to get you back on your way tomorrow.
We had better. I'm scheduled to present a lecture on Chaucer's Canterbury Tales at the University of Toronto tomorrow evening. I'm Danielle Lewis, Reverend Mother. I teach English literature at St. Mary's. Miss Bishop happens to be one of my students. It's a pleasure to meet you. Oh, Miss, or is it Doctor? It's Doctor, but either will be fine. When I make my speech tomorrow, in honor of your hospitality, I'll be sure to touch upon the nun's tale. Ooh, lightly, I hope, as I recall some of Mr. Chaucer's tales are a bit risque. Please have a seat. And this observant gentleman who followed our lines to the convent is Mr. McDougal?
Yes, Patrick McDougal, Reverend Mother.
Ah, that sounds like a good Irish name. Irish Catholic?
Yes, I was brought up in the church, but if you'll excuse me, I'll defrost by the fire if you don't mind.
I'd like to thank you too, Reverend Mother. I'm Mary Adams.
Ah, no doubt you're Irish. Nice to meet you.
My goodness! This place is simply crawling with Marys. What did you name your dog? Mary Fido?
We don't have a dog, but you're right about us having an abundance of Marys, especially when all the sisters are here, even though half of our order is stranded in Buffalo. We have all taken the first name of Mary in deference to the Holy Mother.
And your second name's in honor of a saint.
Yes, and you are?
Laura Evans. Miss Laura Evans. I was a nun myself before I left the convent years ago.
You're an ex-nun?
A former nun, yes.
How interesting. I would love to talk to you about it later.
If you'd like, Reverend Mother.
And who might you be?
You don't know?
Should I?
I'm Erica Kincaid, the actress. I have my own television series, Mary, Mary, quite contrary. I, too, am a Mary, in a sense.
Oh, we don't own a television set. It's become too worldly for our tastes.
I know exactly what you mean. A lot of what's out there is just plain trash. Not my show, of course. I insist that my writers adhere to very high standards.
Glad to hear it.
In fact, I'm on my way to Toronto to film a movie version of Joan of Arc for the Hallmark Channel. While my show's on hiatus for the season, I want my fans to see me in a serious drama for once, and I've always had a burning desire to play St. Joan.
Oh, glad to know her story will be offered to the viewing public.
Yes, well, I was to fly up, but that snowstorm snowed in all the airports, and I was forced to take the bus. If I don't get to the studio by tomorrow, my schedule will be shot to pieces.
I'll do my best to get us back on the road, Miss Kincaid.
If you don't, I suspect Greyhound might find itself in a $10 million lawsuit.
As long as it doesn't come out of my salary. Just kidding.
Yeah, man. I've got to get to Toronto, too, man. Like, urgent, like. My plane's been grounded, too. And I've got a gig tomorrow night.
A gig? What, may I ask, is a gig?
You know, thing.
It means engagement, performance.
Yeah, that.
Oh, I see, you're a musician.
Right on, Rev. My band, the Breaking Bones, has a single in the top 10. Kill Me With Your Kiss. I never knew love could be like this! Come on, baby! Kill me with your kiss!
How romantic.
Sisters told me to tell you the room's are ready. The room's ready.
Very good. Since most of our sisters are stranded in Buffalo tonight, we're able to offer you their spare rooms.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. And once you've settled in, Sister Mary Margaret is preparing refreshments in the dining room down the hall to your left. Feel free to help yourselves. I haven't eaten. Oh, excuse me, sir. I don't believe I caught your name.
I'm Jerome Stacy, Reverend Mother.
Oh, and what do you do, Mr. Stacy?
I'm a writer for the New York Times.
Oh, a reporter? I don't recall seeing your byline in the paper.
No, I don't report. I write a column. Nothing important. Excuse me.
A reporter who doesn't like to see his name in print. How odd.
Sister Mary Martin has assigned our guests to the rooms. Is there anything else you'd like me to do, Reverend Mother?
Not at the moment, thank you.
The refreshments are ready! Where is everybody?
They're in the rooms. They'll be back shortly.
Oh, good.
What are you doing with the party hat and noisemaker, Mary Agatha? It's no one's birthday.
Well, you never know. saucers to put out for the guests, but I didn't think to count them.
Herman said there were 9 guests.
Oh, and us. I'll tell her. If you'll direct everyone to the dining room?
Yes, Reverend Mother.
And keep an eye on.
Sister Social Director? Definitely, Reverend Mother. Mary Agatha, why don't you sit down and work on your sampler while I put the cards away?
All right, sister.
We can go to the kitchen later and have some coffee.
Oh, no, I don't want any.
Why not?
Sister Mary Margaret said she's making decaf coffee.
So?
I never knew that coffee was made from little baby cows. I'll never drink it again.
Not decaf, C-A-L-F. It's decaffeinated. Without the caffeine, coffee's made from beans, Sister Silly Britches.
I am so relieved. I don't mind drinking bean juice.
Dang fool woman.
What's the matter now, Herman?
Dang snooty woman from the TV. Told me to get her luggage off the bus. Told her I ain't no bellhop. She can freeze her knickers off out there for all I care.
I don't blame you. She can make do until they're able to leave tomorrow morning.
Sooner the better if you ask me. Show's not even funny. It's just stupid.
I wouldn't know. If you like, you can go to the dining room and grab yourself some coffee.
Don't mind if I do.
Did I hear someone mention coffee?
Oh, you probably did, Professor. It's been a hot topic of the conversation for the last few minutes. If you like, it's in the dining room, down the hall to your left.
Thanks. Shall we, Mary?
Yes, Dr. Lewis.
Doctor, I've been having some problems with my arthritis.
I'm sorry, sister. I'm not that kind of doctor. I teach literature.
Oh, that's okay then. I already know how to read.
That's nice. Mary?
Yes.
That person seems very pleasant, don't they? But is it a man or a woman? I wonder what they're doing with the bishop's daughter.
I just overheard that she's her student. I think they just happen to travel on the same bus.
If you say so, sister.
Everyone seems to be settling in. It's strange to walk down the hallway and hear men's voices.
Sister Mary Ethelberger has a deep voice.
Yes, but her problem is glandular. Oh, poor dear. She makes Herman sound like a soprano.
Still, it's always nice to have a bass handy when you sing hymns. As Reverend Mother would say,
the Lord works in mysterious ways.
Are you interrupting?
Oh, not at all, Miss Adams.
Mary, please. Let's see. You are Sister Mary Thomas. And you are?
Mary Martin. No relation to the other one, of course. Whenever I try singing, the hills are alive and it's really frightening.
Now that's not true, Sister Mary Pinocchio. You sing very well. For someone who's totally tone deaf.
I suspected you were exaggerating. We haven't met yet. I'm Mary Adams.
I'm Sister Mary Agatha. Are you a new novitiate?
Oh, no. I was on the bus.
Oh, yes.
You know, your convent is very fascinating. All the suits of armor in the hallways like that one, and the broadswords and crossbows throughout the place.
This old mansion was willed to the church by Charles Becket, a very wealthy old gentleman. He claimed he was related to Thomas à Becket.
My namesake, St. Thomas. Mr. Becket took a special interest in the Middle Ages and spent a small fortune on these artifacts.
We are told as a young man, he traveled throughout England and France extensively, buying them up.
Well, you must tell Dr. Lewis all about it. She'll be stunned. She told me she'll be lecturing on Canterbury Tales tomorrow. And let's see, if I remember my history correctly, Thomas à Becket was
the Archbishop of Canterbury,
who King Henry II has murdered. Let me explain. Charles's pilgrims tell their stories while they're en route to St. Thomas's shrine. If you want to know anything about old St. Thomas, just ask me. I said all I could when the bishop gave me his name.
Then Dr. Lewis will definitely want to talk to you. Isn't it an odd coincidence that she should end up here tonight?
As Reverend Mother would say,
the Lord works in mysterious ways.
Amen. When I left the convent, I thought I put the convent life behind me forever, but he has seen fit to return me to one for a night. I must say, this brings back memories.
Pleasant ones, I hope.
For the most part.
Oh, Miss Evans, this is Sister Mary Agatha.
It's a pleasure to meet you, sister.
I'm confused. You lived in a convent?
I was a nun myself once, years ago.
I didn't know you could quit. How about that? What'd you do? Give it 2 weeks' notice?
It isn't that simple. I taught at a high school in Brooklyn for 20 years before I questioned my calling. It's a long story.
I must say, your former students would be surprised if they should run into you now.
As a matter of fact, I think... No, I must be mistaken. I believe the Reverend Mother mentioned coffee.
Oh, yes. I was supposed to tell you it's in the dining room. Down the hall, to your left.
I'd like some too. Excuse us.
Drink all you want. It's made from beans.
It has something to do with cows. I'll tell you later.
All right. Please make yourselves comfortable. Oh, do help yourself, sister. I'll watch out for it.
Reverend Mother Matron has returned. Sister Mary Agatha will bring you a snack and coffee.
Oh, please. I'll just sit right here and keep myself company.
You do that, sister.
Cows?
Explain the kitchen.
So, like, if you want to do an interview for me for your paper, I had a couple headshots in my guitar case if you want them.
I don't write features. I suggest you call the entertainment editor if you want publicity.
Saints preserve us! The Martians have landed! The Martians have landed!
Sister, calm down. Miss Torch is a musician. Musicians aren't like regular people.
Right on, Rev. And it's just Torch. Don't be scared, sis. My looks to make me unique. Stand out from the crowd. Lots of musicians look like this nowadays.
Mr. Sinatra didn't.
There's food and drink down the hall to your left.
Thank you, Reverend Mother.
So, about that number, is there a way you can call him?
Reverend Mothers?
Yes, Sister Mary Agatha.
The real world is scary. I'll never resign.
That's good to know.
Not all performers look like that person. That's even better.
Well, I don't get a wife or kids worried about me. You got anybody you need to call?
No, I don't have anyone either. Nobody at all.
Well, I still gotta call Greyhound and let him know it happened. Reverend Mother, is there a phone I could use?
Right behind you by the chair.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I thought about teaching, but decided it just wasn't for me. So what do you do, dear? Oh, I work for the city. Let's sit down.
That's funny. There's no dial tone. Phone's dead.
It was fine this afternoon. Sister Mary Fabiola called to let me know the others would be stranded in Buffalo.
The line must be down.
I guess. Hey, those look good. I love cookies!
Down the hall to your left.
Come on, Patrick. Let's load up. Do you think they have chocolate chip? I love chocolate chip. Oh, excuse me, sister. My stomach doesn't lead. I just follow. I'm going!
Right. Looks like Mr. Patterson's keeping the keyboard elves working overtime.
Truly. Here you are, sister. Thank you.
Oh, go ahead, Derek. I'm sorry.
Then, like, at the end of the number, I set my drummer's hair on fire. It was fake, you know?
It's back.
Hope no smoker ever asked you for a light.
If you look like that every day, what on earth do you wear for Halloween?
I'm too old to go trick-or-treating, sis.
You could have fooled me.
Have a finger sandwich, sister. Oh, it's pimento cheese.
Mmm.
Do not be alarmed.
It is I, Joan of Arc. It's a miracle.
No, it isn't. It's that actress.
Really, Miss Kincaid?
Well, I was wet. I slipped in the snow on the way to the bus. I saw this suit of armor in the hallway and had a divine inspiration. What better way to prepare for the role of St. Joan than to dress like her in her full battle regalia? Slay this English invaders!
Do be careful, Miss Kincaid. Those swords are razor sharp.
And they're heavy, too. That Joan must have worked out.
So then I said some, holy smokes, it's the Tin Man!
Nonsense. It's I, Erica Kincaid.
For a moment there, I thought we were in Oz.
Miss Kincaid is play acting in a very old and valuable antique. I must ask you to remove it, young lady, before it is damaged.
Well, I can see you do not support the arts.
Ever seen anything like that before?
Not in this lifetime.
Come on, let's go chow down.
I thought I'd join you. Has everyone been served?
Everyone except Miss Kincaid. She can fend for herself.
You might want to leave the can opener out.
Oh, join us, sister.
I ate in the kitchen. Servants are supposed to do that, ain't they? I'm going back to my rooms. You can call me if you think of anything else for me to do.
Actually, we can't. Mr. Patterson discovered the phone line is down.
Yeah?
There are more refreshments in the dining room if anybody else is interested.
This tastes wonderful. It seems like ages since we stopped to eat that little place outside Rochester. Now, what was it called again?
The Chat and Chew Diner.
That sounds very familiar. Have we been there before, sisters?
No, Mary Agatha.
I assume you all get off the bus there?
Sure, Reverend Mother. No one wanted to sit in a cold bus for half hour or so.
I see.
Yep. Down at that door now.
Who's dead?
A waitress at the Chat and Chew. It was on the radio. The police found her body strangled behind the diner. They say she may have been killed by the Merry Murderer.
Hey, quiet down!
No wonder we never eat there.
Please, sister. You wanted to say something, Mr. McDougal?
Yes, when was the murder committed?
The police say they discovered her body about an hour ago.
Not long after we stopped there.
Listen, people, buses pull in their day in and day out. You remember the trailways parked next to my bus? The place was crowded.
You said her name was Mary?
It was the Merry Murderer.
Well, the announcer said her name, Mary, was stitched on her pocket.
She waited on us. She said, "Hi, my name is Mary," and I said, "So am I." Do you remember, Mr. Stacy?
I think so.
She was alive when we got there.
Was she alive when we left?
Oh my goodness.
All right, knock it off!
Mr. McDougal, what are you doing with the pistol? It is most inappropriate to bring a weapon into the convent.
I'd hardly call the swords on the wall toys.
The former owner's decorations are rather gothic. Guns are another matter.
I'm sorry if you're offended, Reverend Mother, but when we first arrived at this old house, I didn't know it was a convent. It wouldn't have mattered anyways. I'm a cop. My gun goes where I go.
Heavy, man. You're the fuzz?
You didn't say anything. You're supposed to let the bus driver know if you carry any weapons. Regulation 586.
I never blow my cover. I'm with the Homicide Division Manhattan, and I guess I'm now officially on the trail of the Merry Murderer.
The radio said the announcer, the police suspect he's clean for the Canadian border.
That makes sense. Let's see if I can identify the culprit and arrest him before he gets out of this country.
Mr. McDougal, if you think it's one of us, why have you chosen to reveal your profession to us now?
Because if the killer is one of us, I want to let him know he'd be crazy to try anything here while I'm around to protect you.
Lieutenant McDougal, a man who's killed 10, now 11 women, just because their name is Mary, well, he is crazy, isn't he?
That will be up to his defense lawyer to prove once we catch him.
You said he. How do you know it's a man? Some pretty tough babes out there. Strong. I know why I wouldn't want to arm wrestle Sister Mary Ethelberger.
Her problem is glandular.
It's possible the killer is a woman, but not probable. Female serial killers are very rare. Herman, I know where all the other men in this room are this afternoon. I'm just curious. Where were you?
Me? What kind of dang fool question is that? You were all at the scene of the crime.
If you have nothing to hide, you won't mind answering it. Where were you?
If you must know, I live in Buffalo and stay out over here on the weekends and chores.
Rochester isn't that far from Buffalo. Come to think of it, Manhattan's just a few hours away. All the murders there occurred on weeknights, so...
Hey, you ain't pinning no murders on me.
I'm not trying to pin them on anyone. Yet. I just want to make it clear that you are just as much as a suspect as any other man in this room.
You really think it's one of us, officer?
Lieutenant. Maybe not, hopefully not. But just in case, I suggest you women lock your doors tonight.
We can't. The doors to our rooms require keys, but I assume they were lost long ago, before we even inherited the house.
We've never had any need to lock our doors before. None of us would ever invade another's privacy.
Well then, I'd at least suggest tilting back a straight back chair and wedging it under your doorknob. You've been warned.
I'm confused. This young man thinks we have a killer in the convent?
Probably not, sister. Lieutenant McDougal just wants us to be cautious.
Oh my goodness, I'm going to hide in the walls.
Not again, no.
Like, what do you think you are, lady? A termite?
Sister Mary Agatha, do you remember what happened last time you hid in the walls?
The walls? What are you talking about?
I had better explain. We discovered this house is full of secret passageways and hidden rooms. Its original structure was built in the mid-1700s by a notorious pirate by the unpleasant name of Mad Dog Morgan. Apparently, he plundered the Atlantic and returned here by way of the Great Lakes with his bounty, which he hid in its interior.
We've all read about Mad Dog in the papers left to us by Mr. Beckett, the previous owner. Mad Dog built this house on this exact spot because of its proximity to Lake Erie.
This is fascinating. I would love to explore these secret rooms. I'm afraid I must forbid it. I'm sorry the subject came up, but since it did, let me remind you, Mary Agatha, that the last time you were lost for an entire day. When we finally found you, you were covered in enough cobwebs to make a cocoon. Stay out of the walls.
Yes, Reverend Mother.
This place is perfect. Could I shoot a video here? My band would love it.
Over my dead body? Perhaps that was not the most appropriate way to phrase my objection. The answer is no. This is a holy order, and we value our privacy.
Which we have disturbed. Sorry, Reverend Mother.
It couldn't be helped. Mr. Lieutenant McDougal, we appreciate your warning. I trust everyone will keep it in mind. Let us pray that your concern will prove to be unfounded.
Now I lay me down to sleep.
Oh, not yet, sister. Oh, sit down.
Well, this has been a real swell party, but I'm heading back to my rooms. I'll be over at the garage if you decide to arrest me or anything.
I'll be sure to remember that.
Good help must be hard to find.
Mr. Beckett's will specified that the Holy Order continue to retain Herman. The Lord works in mysterious ways.
I have returned.
Sometimes very mysterious.
Miss Kincaid, what are you doing in those robes?
Look, you wouldn't let me wear the suit of armor. Anyways, this is a lot more comfortable. I found it in the wardrobe in my room. It helps me get in touch with the spiritual side of St. Joan.
That's Sister Canteria's room. Those are her robes.
There's a St. Canteria? What happened to her?
Her father had her beheaded when she wouldn't marry the man of his choosing.
Oh, my goodness. Fathers were tough in her day. Well, I'll be glad to charge the cleaning costs of the production crew.
Don't bother. I'm sure Sister Quinteria will see its lone and active charity.
Food? Oh, I'm famished.
If you really want to get in the mood to play a martyr, you can fast.
No need, darling. I can act hungry for the camera. Right now, I'd kill for a sandwich. What? What'd I say?
You missed a rather startling announcement. Come to the dining room with me. I'll relate it to you.
Ooh, is it gossip? I absolutely adore gossip.
I better join them. I'm a big guy. It takes a lot to fill me up.
I'll go check the food.
Oh, they say good news travels fast.
I could use another cup of coffee.
Hey, I'm with you, man.
Excuse me.
Hey, so when are you gonna get in touch with that guy? I could use that number really soon.
I feel a lot better now that we've eaten, sister. Thank you for your hospitality.
I appreciate it too.
It's our pleasure.
I'm headed back to the kitchen as well. Lieutenant, might I take your cup?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Miss Adams.
Oh, please, call me Mary.
All right, Mary. Reverend Mother, I'd like to look around the place, check out the security.
If you like, Lieutenant.
Sisters, would you like anything else?
Oh, nothing.
She seems like an awfully sweet girl.
Yes. Well, I don't think she mentioned why she was traveling on the bus. Do you?
Now that you mention it, no.
Well, if her reasons are private, we mustn't pry. Well, this has proved to be a very eventful evening.
Truly, Reverend Mother. You know, if the murderer really is one of our guests, I'd love to discover his identity.
Oh, don't be ridiculous, Mary Martin. Who do you think you are, Sister Mary Marple? Besides, if we did catch the killer, how do we subdue him? We're not ninja nuns, you know.
I agree. We had better leave the detecting up to Lieutenant McDougal.
I'm offended.
Offended? Why, Mary Agatha?
Because the new novitiate came in and nobody introduced us.
Oh, Mary Agatha.
Mr. Stacy? Oh, you were working. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you.
That's all right. I could use a break.
Something for the newspaper?
Yes. There's only one lamp in my room and the bulb is rather dim.
A nun's needs are simple. Back at my former convent, the furnishings were much more Spartan than the ones we had here.
Where's our hosts?
Oh, they're at Vespers. The Reverend Mother showed me a room they converted into a chapel. They've gone there to pray. No doubt for the redemption of that poor girl's soul. Mary Lester?
Considering what Lieutenant McDougal said, shouldn't you be in your room?
I'm not afraid. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil.
I wish I had your faith. I'm afraid. I'm very, very afraid.
But why, Mr. Stacy? All the murderer's victims have been women named Mary. Surely you're not in any danger.
I'm concerned for your safety. You said your name used to be Mary,
Sister Mary Apollonia.
Yes, I'm concerned for you and the other Marys.
You needn't be. As you no doubt have seen, Lieutenant McDougal seems determined to protect us. He's very involved in the case.
He's more emotionally involved in the case than you know. His wife, Mary McDougal, was the first victim of the Mary murderers.
No, his wife?
I was working late at the office the night Tony DeSalvo, a reporter, came in talking about it. He had just come from the scene of the crime, the McDougal's house, where Miss McDougal had been found strangled in the bedroom upstairs. The police found a broken window downstairs and assumed the killer had gone in that way. It was last June.
I had no idea.
Miss Evans, you look very pale. I didn't mean to startle you. Would you like a glass of water? Or something stronger than that? I have a flask of brandy. It's to ward off the cold.
Not brandy, but another cup of coffee would be nice.
Yes. Shall we?
Yes, Mr. Stacy.
Very interesting, Mr. Stacy.
Oh, it was so nice of you to let us join your prayer service, Reverend Mother.
Yes, I feel more and more like St. Joan the longer I'm here. In fact, if I win an Emmy for playing her, I'll be sure to thank you all after the producer, director, other cast members, hair, makeup, my parents, and God, mustn't forget about him.
You shouldn't, Miss Kincaid. He doesn't forget you.
You're right. I was born a poor girl in West Virginia, and now I'm rich and famous. Isn't that amazing?
The Lord works in mysterious ways.
That reminds me, I need to work on my sampler. Now, where did I put it?
Oh, it's right there, Mary Agatha.
Why don't you take it with you to your rooms? It's past our bedtime.
I thought I was getting sleepy.
Perhaps we should follow Lieutenant McDougal's advice and wedge a chair under our door. The Lord
Works in mysterious ways.
I was going to say the Lord helps those who help themselves.
Well, we can move Mary Agatha's mattress into my room for the night, and I can stay there and watch over her, with your permission, of course.
Oh, that's a very kind gesture. I consent wholeheartedly.
I'm going to have a roommate? Oh, goody! It'll be just like when I was a young child and I shared a room with my sister Elizabeth, except I don't think she slept on the floor, though.
It's just for tonight, Mary Agatha, while we have guests.
And can you tell me a bedtime story?
All right, I'll be Reverend Mother Goose.
I think I'm gonna turn into. I need to look over my script before tomorrow's shooting. Good night, y'all.
We're right behind you. Mary Martin?
Yes, it's been a long day. Oh, so don't forget to put a chair against your door.
Chair? I'm thinking about using the wardrobe.
Miss Bishop?
Oh, you go on ahead, Reverend Mother. I think I'm going to stay up a while longer. I'm not scared.
I couldn't help but notice during Vespers you seemed troubled. Is there anything I can help you with?
Oh, Reverend Mother, I'm so upset.
Oh, what is it, child?
It's Ryan, this boy I've been seeing. We had a fight recently.
A boyfriend? That doesn't surprise me.
Yes, he's a great guy, and I love him. But he's been hiding something from me.
Why don't you tell me about it?
Well, he called me the other night. He wanted to come over to my dorm room and straighten things out. I hung up on him. That was so immature of me. I mean, I need to face my problems head on, and here I am running home to my mother.
No, think of it as needing to put a little time and distance between you, to think things out.
Yeah, yes. I mean, if only it had been different and... Oh, what happened?
Oh, the snow must have snapped the power lines. Hopefully it was just the circuit breaker shutting off. We keep plenty of candles in the convent. Don't worry, my dear. And with Christmas right around the corner, Mary Agatha has been a little anxious to get our decorations out early. I seem to recall there are some, here they are. I found them. Pray it's not the lines, my dear. We'll all be putting our mattresses up against the fire to keep from freezing. Come.
Well, if so, someone will have to fetch your handyman too, won't they?
Oh, poor Herman. I should hope not.
I'm sure he doesn't want to see us.
Shall we get back to the library?
Yes.
I can't. It's fortunate the sisters set their dining table with candles.
Yes, it is, Miss Evans. There's no one here. Maybe I should light the way in case if anybody wants to return to the library. We might have to rebuild the fire. Stay warm.
You're right. This old house will cool down quickly.
But I don't want to leave you alone in here.
That's all right. I'll be fine. Besides, you won't be gone long.
I'll hurry and be right back. Miss Evans!
Is she hurt? I don't think so. Miss Evans?
Someone left the door open.
The door open?
No,
stay away! Oh, Miss Evans, it's all right. No one's going to hurt you.
Help her up.
I'm sorry, Miss Evans. I never dreamed.
You couldn't have known.
What happened?
Me and Mr. Stacy came in, and someone jumped out, and...
Here, sit down.
A prowler? We've never had any prowlers before. What could they be looking for?
A victim.
It's morning!
No, sister, the lights have just come back on.
Oh, I thought it was an awfully short night.
That was so weird. I was reading my script, and I came to the part where it said blackout, and there was a blackout. I think it's a sign from above.
It was a sign that the electricity went out, Miss Kincaid. Nothing more.
Well, you never know. The Reverend Mother says the Lord works in
Mysterious ways. Yes, we know, but we can't chalk up a power failure to divine intervention.
It wasn't a power failure. Apparently someone threw the main switch on the circuit breaker.
Oh, I can't imagine why anyone would do that.
I can. When I left Miss Evans alone in here, someone attacked her.
Did he harm you?
No, not unless you count being frightened out of your wits. When I saw him, I screamed and I fainted. He didn't touch me.
Could you tell who it was?
No, he was wearing a mask and it was dark.
Oh, that must have been terrifying.
Oh, yes. If it happened to me, I would have been scared out of my wits. Just call me Sister Scaredy Cat.
I know a movie producing. I could turn this into a movie of the week. I'll play Miss Evans, of course, except younger. And maybe a former Las Vegas showgirl instead of a ex-nun. Otherwise, it'll be just the same. Oh, excuse me.
I have a feeling if Miss Kincaid has her way, Joan of Arc will appear in court wearing a dress by Yves Saint Laurent and diamonds from Tiffany.
Saint Laurent? I don't believe I've heard of him. Did he perform a miracle?
Not unless you count hiding a midriff bulge.
Our designer has him beat.
I saw your lights go out and then come back on. What's the matter, Mother?
It was the circuit breaker, Herman. The power has been restored.
Good. If everyone here had to come to my place to stay warm, it'd get pretty crowded. We'd all have to sleep standing up.
I don't expect the problem to recur.
We heard a commotion!
Is anything wrong?
Miss Evans was startled by a prowler.
A prowler? Here? He had to have been here, or Miss Evans wouldn't have seen him.
I bow to your wisdom, sister. It was a foolish question.
Wait, so like, there's a killer in the house?
We think the killer went out the door.
We had better make sure. If you ladies will return to your rooms, us men will search the house. Unless that suggestion sounds too chauvinistic to you.
No, that's fine with me. I'll just search under my bed and call it quits.
All right. Willard, you take the stairs near the front door and search the floor above.
Right! Wait, I'll join him. If I can handle college students, I can handle anything. The floor above is used mostly for storage.
It won't hurt to look. Mr. Stacy, take the kitchen in the back of the house.
Hey, I want in on this. This is cool. So, when's that number coming?
Good idea to send that torch thing. It could scare anyone.
I'll check the empty bedrooms. Herman, look around outside.
I might have known.
Ladies.
Good night.
The prowler. We've all been thinking it. Who's going to say it?
You believe it was the Mary murderer?
Who else could it have been?
Oh, sister.
We have to face facts. The men on that bus were at the diner when the poor waitress was killed.
God rest her soul.
Yes, and now a mysterious stranger shows up at our convent miles from the highway? It has to be the killer, and he came here on that bus.
Miss Evans, Miss Bishop, Miss Adams, you were all with the men in close quarters. Did you see or hear anything that might make you suspect that one of them could be the killer?
It couldn't have been Mr. Stacy. The prowler was hiding in the room when we came in.
And the driver, Willard, seems awfully good-natured to be a killer.
But then, serial killers are often described by their friends and acquaintances as being very ordinary. You can't tell by appearances.
If we all could, I think we can elect Torch by a unanimous vote.
Is that young man, no woman, a thing with the disgusting hair the president?
Of the Torch fan club, maybe, but that's all.
Well, Lieutenant McDougal seems to think Herman is a suspect as well.
We can't deny Herman is strange, but I don't think he's the Mary murderer. If he were to murder one of us, wouldn't he have attempted to long ago?
Not necessarily. If one of you had been killed here, Herman would have been the prime suspect. He would have been wise to track his victims away from the convent.
Oh, I just had a creepy thought.
What, sister?
Well, if the killer is Herman and he did want to kill one of us, tonight would be the perfect night, since there are other men in the house that would be blamed as well.
You're right, sister. We had better keep our guard up against him as well.
Reverend Mother, I'm sorry. By coming here, we have put your lives in danger as well as our own.
It couldn't be helped.
Now that we're isolated here, perhaps Lieutenant McDougal will be able to catch the fiend and put him away.
I sure hope so, Reverend Mother.
Well, the best thing we can do now is return to our rooms. I'm sure the men will let us know if they find anything. Please.
I'm glad our other sisters are stranded in Buffalo tonight. At least they're safe.
For murderers, anyway.
You were telling me a story. Do you remember?
Yes, we had just gotten to the part where the big bad wolf jumped in front of the path of Little Red Riding Nun.
The back part of the house is well secure.
Yeah. Like, where are all the penguin ladies?
I imagine the ladies have returned to their rooms.
Oh. So what do we do now?
I plan on finishing this article I'm writing. When the other men return, I'm going to suggest we all take up sentry duty in the bedroom quarters. So if the killer is one of us, he won't have a chance to strike again.
That's good thinking, man, but I'm too wired to sit still and wait. So I'm gonna catch up with Willard and that professor. See what we can find.
If we do that, I'll be right here.
Watch your back, dude.
Oh, Mr. Stacy, you're in here.
Miss Bishop, Torch had joined the men upstairs. Shouldn't you be in your room?
Well, I doubt I'll be able to sleep. I thought I'd find something to read.
Well, you have plenty to choose from.
Don't let me disturb you. I'll just pick something and be on my way. They have quite a collection. A lot of classics. Oh. The complete works of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. His books are on Dr. Lewis's reading list for next semester. Maybe I'll read a few chapters and get a head start on my homework.
So it's gonna be a Sherlock Holmes. Miss Bishop? Where did you go? Something's wrong. Very wrong. Maybe I better call the others.
I've been. Help! Help! She pulled him in there! Help! Oh my god! Oh my god! She pulled him! Please! What are you talking about? I saw nothing! Pull Mr. Stacy in there!
There's a passageway to a secret room behind the bookcase. We found it when we were searching for Mary Agatha the day she disappeared.
You're never going to let me live that down, are you?
That's all right, sister. I think I can find it again.
You said you saw a nun, but we're all here.
Did you see her face?
No, the veil hid it.
His face, most likely. To overpower Mr. Stacy. The suspect must have been a man. As you discovered yourself, Miss Kincaid, we all keep extra robes in our wardrobes.
Yes, we're always clearing our habits. Cleanliness is next to godliness.
I must put that on a sampler. I found it. It's dark in there. I speak from experience.
I can take care of myself. I'll go.
Be careful. I would never go. I'm just saying. I'm just scared.
Miss Bishop!
Are you hurt?
What happened?
I was going to say that.
Mr. Stacy was at his writing table. I just selected a book to read when suddenly someone grabbed me from behind and pulled me that space behind the wall. When I couldn't get breath, I fainted, and the next thing I knew, Mary Adams was standing beside me.
And Mr. Stacy? He's dead. Apparently, he was strangled to death. Whoever did this must have slipped back out. I've got to write this all down. My being a witness to a murder will make my autobiography a bestseller.
It's going to take more than wearing a habit to make her a spiritual person.
Amen to that.
No! Mr. King! What are you doing? Mr. Stacy's papers might be evidence. And we best not move the body until the police can get here.
I feel just awful. If I had hadn't mentioned the hidden passageways, the killer wouldn't have even known about them.
Herman knew about them.
What, sister?
Nothing, Reverend Mother.
I was so scared I thought I was going to die. But you didn't, dear.
You may have both died if it weren't for Miss Kincaid.
We assume he was the Mary murderer, but if it was him, why did he pass out to kill Mary Bishop, and kill a man instead? It really doesn't make any sense.
Yes, it does.
It does?
How?
I know.
These are letters to an advice to the lovelorn column in the New York Times. Just ask Mary. Mr. Stacy was composing an answer to one. As it turns out, the reason he was so evasive about his work at the Times was because he figured his readers would be outraged to learn the advice was actually being given by a man. Jerome Stacy was Mary.
Why can't my writers think up things like this?
Because, Miss Kincaid, this isn't some stupid television show. A man has died.
You're right. That wasn't sensitive. I'm sorry. What can I do to make up for it?
Say 1,000 Hail Marys.
We heard a scream.
It was I. I have great projection. Theater training, you know. Miss Kincaid saw the Mary murderer, disguised as a nun, dragged Mr. Stacy into a secret room, where he killed him.
Chips and dip? Wait, so the Mary murderer's like killing men now too?
I'll explain later. Right now, I must know where the three of you were minutes ago.
Upstairs searching the rooms.
Together?
No, we split up and went to different wings.
I was here with Mr. Stacy, checked the kitchen and here, and once we didn't find anything, I hooked up with Willard and the professor on the staircase. You know, after the scream.
There are hidden staircases as well as passages behind all the walls. The killer could have come and gone without being seen.
You think one of us?
All right, what's all the noise about?
I had better show you, Lieutenant. This way.
So, like, why is he killing men now?
Jerome Stacy wrote a column. Just ask Mary. He was Mary too.
That doesn't seem right.
This is getting too far out. Are you all right, Mary?
Yes.
I mean Mary Bishop.
Oh.
You look upset.
The man attacked me before he murdered Mr. Stacy. I didn't see his face.
Poor girl.
I'm a little shaky, but I'll be fine.
That settles it. I have to get all of you out of here at daybreak, whether or not we have to walk to Buffalo.
In case you're wondering, found out why the phone line's dead. It's been cut in two. Found something else also.
What, Herman?
This.
Wait, what could it be?
Okay, Buster, don't make a move.
Hey, I haven't done anything.
Ryan?
What?
Yeah, Mary, it's me. What's going on here?
Lieutenant, please don't shoot him. It's my boyfriend. My ex-boyfriend. Oh, I don't know. How did you find me?
When I couldn't reach you this morning, I called your parents. Your mother told me you're taking a bus back home to Buffalo. I couldn't face the holidays with you mad at me, so I hopped in my car and took off after you in this blizzard. A little while ago, I came across a bus on the side of the road. Its destination, Buffalo, was on the front panel. I figured it was the one you were on. I followed some footprints in the snow, and they led me here.
That's a good story, but I find it kind of hard to believe you just happened to arrive at the murder scene minutes after the guy's been killed.
Murder? Who?
A lovelorn columnist. And if I ever saw anyone who's lovelorn, it's you.
Wait a sec, you can't believe just because I had a spat with my girlfriend that I turned into a murderer.
No. The killer started his spree 7 months ago.
Spree? You can't think that I'm
The Mary murderer.
Mary, tell him that's insane.
Actually, we think the killer is insane.
We?
I'm a cop, Lieutenant McDougal of the Homicide Division, Manhattan. Miss Evans, the man in the ski mask you saw earlier, was this him?
I don't know. It was dark and he was wearing a mask. It could have been he,
but I can't swear to it.
What are you talking about? I just got here.
That's just what I expect you to say if you're our murderer.
Lieutenant, I'm sure you're wrong about Ryan. He could never hurt anyone.
Maybe, maybe not. How long have you two been going together?
We started dating last spring.
Just before the time the murder started. Your boyfriend here could be a real nutcase. Loves you and hates you at the same time. Can't take his bad feelings out on you, so he takes them out on other women they marry.
I can't believe what I'm hearing. Are you a policeman or a psychiatrist?
In my line of work, you have to be a little bit of both. Come on, Buster. We can have a little talk. Reverend Mother, can we use your kitchen for a few minutes?
Of course, Lieutenant.
The kitchen? What are you going to do with me in there? Grill me?
That won't be necessary. If you confess.
I have nothing to confess.
We'll see. I want to hear all about how you've been spending your time for the last 7 months.
Lieutenant, please, don't hurt him.
Don't worry, Miss Bishop. I can handle this guy.
Mary?
Just do what he says, Ryan.
Move it.
Where are all these men coming from? Is the church going to turn St. Mary's into a monastery?
No, sister. It does seem to become a co-ed convent, doesn't it? Hopefully, we can get our guests back on their way tomorrow and restore order to our order. Right now, I believe we should gather in the chapel and offer prayers for Mr. Stacy. You're all welcome to join us if you wish.
I'll come. Mr. Stacy's death has... I feel the need for the companionship of sisters. I'm gonna finish this in my room. I really do feel bad about Mr. Stacy.
I wish there was something we could do.
I guess we could move his body into one of the bedrooms.
No. We best leave the body where it is. The police usually secure a crime scene.
Oh, right.
In fact, I had better close that door.
Herman, you said the phone line had been cut?
Yep. Snip clean as the whistle.
This killer guy must have had things pretty planned out. That's, what's the word?
Premeditated?
Yeah! Premedicated. Whatever. Boy, I hate to be in your boyfriend's boots right now.
Ryan didn't kill anybody.
Hey, that's cool.
Actually, I'd like a moment alone with Miss Bishop if the rest of you could excuse us.
Sure, Miss Adams.
Right.
Let's go to our rooms. Herman, you can show us what you know about the layout of this old house.
Well, I know it inside and out. Ought to. Done enough repairs on the place.
The problem you've been having with your boyfriend?
Ryan Wallace.
Ryan. Do you want to talk about him?
He's a great guy, and I love him. But he's been hiding something from me.
What do you mean?
Well, we'll be out on a date and be having a great time. But then he'll look at his watch and say, oh, I've got to go.
He doesn't tell you why?
He'll say he's tired or he needs to study for a test or something. But when I've called him later, no one answers the phone.
Maybe if you talk to his roommate about it.
Oh, he doesn't live on campus. He rents a basement apartment from a couple who live nearby.
A basement? Where he could come and go without their noticing?
Yes. I began to wonder if he was seeing someone else. I asked him about it the other day. He got very upset.
But did he explain his disappearances?
No, he was angry. He said, I'll tell you, but it's really none of your business.
What did you do?
I said, well, don't worry. Whatever you do is no longer any concern of mine. Then I took off his class ring and threw it onto the floor. I haven't talked to him since.
Well, no doubt Lieutenant McDougal is asking him where he's been spending his nights. At least, the nights those girls were murdered.
But Ryan was alone. Even if he was home, no one would be able to give him an alibi.
Don't worry. If Ryan is innocent, no one will be able to prove that he's committed those crimes.
I know he is, Mary. He's good and he's kind and I don't know what to do.
Give him a chance to clear things up. He did follow you all the way here.
Yes, he did.
But we've got a bigger problem to solve. If it's not Ryan, one of the other men in this convent is the Mary murderer. And we must discover who it is before he can strike again. Will you help me?
Of course. I want to prove Ryan is innocent more than anything.
Miss Kincaid gave me an idea. We
The Marys. Well, I'll tell you what I have in mind. Come up to my room where we won't be overheard.
Okay.
Actually, I just remembered something that I must do. But go on ahead. I'll meet you there.
Okay.
That was a lovely service, Reverend Mother.
Thank you. May Mr. Stacy's soul rest in peace.
Amen. Sister Mary Agatha, you must be exhausted.
My knees are killing me. We've prayed an awful lot tonight.
Well, let me take you to your room where you can lie down.
That'd be nice. I don't want to hear any more fairy tales, though. They're too scary.
Well, then I'll read you another chapter of A Christmas Carol.
That'd be much nicer. I can't wait to hear what happens to mean old Reverend Mother Scrooge.
I put the story in terms she can relate to.
Every year around this time, we read a Christmas carol to Mary Agatha.
I was wondering why during the prayer she said, God bless us everyone, and Tiny Tim.
Mary Agatha can be exasperating at times.
Like getting lost in the walls.
And the time she hid our pot holders, our Christmas presents, in the oven, and Sister Mary Phoebe preheated the kitchen and set it on fire.
Times like those. But we love her. I've come to the conclusion the Lord sent Mary Agatha to teach me patience. He does work in mysterious ways.
Amen. The sister seems happy here. At my former convent, St. Luke's, there are women like her. Such souls often find convents havens.
I agree.
But sometimes, like tonight, the world has a way of intruding on our seclusion.
The serial killer.
Hopefully, Lieutenant McDougal will be able to catch him and put him behind bars for good.
Oh, yes. I've never been so scared in my life.
You think the murderer could kill someone else tonight?
Well, sister, this place is overflowing with Marys. He must feel like a proverbial fox in a hen house. And I, for one, am a big chicken.
Have faith, Mary Thomas.
I'll try, Reverend Mother.
Reverend Mother, the young man Lieutenant McDougal is questioning, Miss Bishop's boyfriend, will need a room. Would you like me to prepare one for him?
Yes, thank you, sister. And take Mary Thomas with you. There's safety in numbers.
Yes, Reverend Mother. Come on, Mary Thomas.
Safety in numbers. If someone attacks us, you fight them and I'll help. Just kidding.
We really should retire as well.
Wait. Can we talk while we're alone?
Certainly.
Before, you wanted to know why I left the convent.
I was curious.
As I told you, I was a school teacher, high school. Had I chosen a profession that kept me within convent walls, I might be there still. But instead, I spent my days with young people. But there are ones I couldn't reach. No one could. The drugs, promiscuity, disdain for authority of any kind, refusing to lead the laws of God and man. Those poor misguided youths broke my heart.
I'm sorry. I wish there was something I could do.
You already have. By welcoming us here, being with you and the sisters, praying with you, worshiping with you, it's brought me such comfort.
If I may offer a word of advice, rejoice in the ones you were able to help in a positive manner. Do not dwell upon the ones that you couldn't. Nuns as well as teachers have our failures and successes, no matter what capacity we serve the church.
I'll remember that, Reverend Mother.
And we can still pray for the ones who have strayed from the path. Sometimes people do change. I tell myself that every time I look at Herman. There is always hope.
You're a wise woman, Reverend Mother Mary Cecilia. I can tell why you were chosen to be the shepherdess to lead your flock. I could use some rest now.
The highway department is very good about keeping the roads clear from here to Buffalo. We shouldn't be isolated here much longer.
Though I doubt any of us would be getting any sleep tonight.
That's good to hear, but I still don't want the killer to bolt before I apprehend him. Give me your car keys.
Here, take them.
Reverend Mother, I'd like to get Herman's keys too. Where is he?
I don't know where any of the other men are, Lieutenant. If I see him, I'll send him to you.
Fine.
If you want Herman's car keys, I assume you aren't going to charge this young man with the murder?
Murder? I didn't kill anybody.
We'll see. No, Reverend Mother, I haven't charged anyone. Yet. I'm gonna take a walk over to the garage, check out your handyman's apartment.
Apparently, Lieutenant McDougal hasn't heard of a little thing called a search warrant.
The sisters are preparing your room, Mr. Wallace.
Thank you, sister. But before I do anything else, could you do me one favor and see if Mary will talk to me?
I'll ask.
Ryan,
Mary, I'm so glad you're okay. Will you let me kiss you? I'm sorry about all this. If I hadn't made you upset in the first place, we wouldn't be in the same roof right now as the killer.
well, since you're not in handcuffs, I assume you've convinced Lieutenant McDougal that you're not the Mary murderer?
I think I'm still his prime suspect, but he can't convict me without any evidence. And as long as you believe me, that's all that matters to me.
Of course I do. There's no way I could fall in love with someone capable of murder.
Then you do love me.
You know I do.
I love you too, Mary.
Do you? Do you really? When you love someone, you don't disappear nights and refuse to tell them where you've been.
I have a really good explanation for that.
Well, if you won't tell me, I sure hope you told Lieutenant McDougal.
I told him, but he doesn't believe me, and I can't prove it.
Does that mean you haven't been with someone else?
Mary, you know you're the only girl for me. I could never. Believe me now?
Yes, you present a very strong argument. But, I still don't understand why you won't tell me.
In 2 weeks. I promise I'll tell you everything in 2 weeks.
Well, your explanation better be good.
It will be.
I figured
I
I
hope
think
so.
the Papa was miraculous gives me this year, and I moved the ones just to give me on the past Christmases. I'll have enough to make a bedspread. Oh, there you two are.
We have a room ready for you.
Thank you, sister.
Come in, sisters, and meet my boyfriend. Ryan, this is Sister Mary Thomas and Sister Mary Martin.
The non-singing one. I can break into a few bars of my favorite things if you want proof.
No, that's okay. I believe you.
I gather you two have patched up the differences?
Yes, sister.
I convinced Mary that I love her to death. I'm gonna get my coat.
Yeah.
Mr. Wallace, the rooms are this way.
Thank you, sister. Right, well, Mary, I'll be seeing you later.
Yes.
Oh, I confess, I love and enjoy love stories with happy endings.
Sister Mary Thomas, you're romantic.
Guilty. I had a boyfriend once, years ago. I was in high school. His name was Roger.
What happened?
We graduated, he went up to college, end of story.
Is that why you...
became a nun? No, dear. Looking back, I guess what Roger and I had was puppy love, but not the real thing. But it was nice.
Well, do you ever regret?
Not finding the real thing? Not for a minute. I enjoy being here. I love it.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I just want to let you know that I have an idea of what you and Ryan feel for each other, and I hope it lasts forever.
Thank you, Mary Thomas. I hope so, too.
Me too. Oh, should we get back to our rooms?
Yes. I'm tired, but I doubt I'll be able to sleep.
Oh, yes.
Actually, I just remembered I came down here for a book. I'll meet you back upstairs.
Okay.
Well, mister, you're going to have to wait. I wish murders could be solved as easily in real life as they are in your stories.
Hello? I'm in here. Miss Bishop, I thought I heard someone.
I was just talking to myself.
You really shouldn't be in here alone.
I know. Just let me put this book back. See?
Now come, my dear. That awful murderer should try to strike again. We mustn't make it easy for him.
No, that wouldn't be very smart, would it?
Gang policeman? Took my keys. He went and took my car keys.
Took the keys to the Greyhound, too. Don't know why. It's gonna take a tow truck to get it back on the road, even if I'm not sitting in it.
Obviously, Lieutenant McDougal intends to keep us all here until he catches the murderer. Seems to me, had he given the killer means to escape, and one of us left, then he would know who the guilty party was. Put out an all-points bulletin and nab him.
And the rest of the women here would be safe.
Exactly.
Maybe he figures he gotta make up it to Canada. There's tons of uncharted forest up there that someone could hide.
Could be right.
I never knew love could be like this! Come on, man!
Do that again, weirdo. I'm gonna kill you with my fist.
Hey, chill out, man. A lot of people pay big bucks to hear me do that.
They're bigger weirdos than you are.
Hey, Professor, your student's boyfriend who showed up after the newspaper man was killed. You teach him too?
The Wallace boy? No, he's not in any of my classes. I've seen him around campus with Mary, though. Seems harmless enough.
Seems like this police officer wants to pin it on one of us. But like, what if it's not?
Suppose it's possible.
But Lieutenant McDougal figures since we were at the scene of the crime, that...
So what? They could have been caught in the blizzard and found their way here, just like we did. Hey Herman, you told us about all those hidden passageways in this convent. There could be somebody here that we don't even know about.
Could be right.
I say, if we go and find him, we can prove that we're not guilty. I say let's scope it out.
It's a long shot, but we don't have anything to lose. Herman, you can show us some of the hidden entrances.
I suppose it's better than sitting here twiddling our thumbs. Let's go before Painhead here throws another concert.
If we spread out, we can cover more territory. And when I say spread out, I know what I'm talking about.
If we do find someone, well, I'd feel better if I had a weapon.
Help yourselves. We got plenty of those.
I'd rather have the gun.
Not me.
This is so cool!
Hey, watch out with that thing. Swing it the wrong way and you'll have real spikes in your head. Let's go. Pathway's over in the front, lead out to the rest of the house.
Sick.
I've got to do it. I've just got to do it. I think Sister Mary, what's her name? Push something about here. When my fans read my autobiography, they're gonna expect to find a vivid description of Mr. Stacy's body. It's my duty to report it. Ah! Oh, Mr. Stacy, you look awful. It's nothing personal. You look fine when you were alive, but now you look awful. Ugh. Ugh. Eyes, bloodshot and red. Face, sallow and red. Ugh. Mouth open with her tongue sticking out. There was this rotten little child actor in one of my TV movies. He stuck his tongue out at me every time they tried to take my clothes off. He looked silly, but you look awful. Bruises on neck, black and blue and green and yellow. If I'd have to look like that, I'd just die. No offense, Mr. Stacy. It's not your fault if you just look that awful.
Miss Kincaid?
What?
What are you doing?
Viewing the remains, Mr. Stacy.
I hardly think he'll be asking for your autograph now.
These are notes from my autobiography. Do you want my autograph?
Maybe some other time. Look, I've asked Lieutenant McDougal to meet me here to discuss something private. So, if you don't mind.
Oh, you want me to leave?
Yes.
No problem. I have to go catch up on my beauty sleep.
Oh, you should have been in bed hours ago.
Good night. The dead man clawed his own cheeks as he tried to rip the killer's arms from around his neck. Alas, unsuccessful.
Alas! I'm sorry, Mr. Stacy. What can I say? She's an actress.
You wanted to see me, Miss Bishop?
Oh, please, call me Mary.
All right. Mary, what's on your mind?
Well, I've talked to Ryan since you've questioned him, and he seems to think he's the only suspect for the Mary murders.
Yeah, the boy's a good possibility. He doesn't have anyone to corroborate for his alibi the nights those women were killed.
I don't suppose you'll tell me where he was those nights?
Sorry, that information is classified.
And you assume whoever murdered Mr. Stacy killed the other victims as well, right?
Yes, the Adams girl said that he wrote the newspaper column, so he was a Mary too. It fits.
What if he was killed for another reason? If I could prove someone besides Ryan had motive, wouldn't that let him off the hook? I mean, you only suspect my boyfriend because he showed up right after the murder was committed.
If you know something, Miss Bishop, you had better tell me. Withholding evidence is a serious charge.
I haven't been. I just realized I may have seen something tonight that could be a clue to the killer's identity.
What?
Well, do you remember when we stopped to eat at the Chat and Chew?
Yes?
It was really crowded and we had to find seats wherever we could. I sat at a table with Mr. Stacy.
Go on.
He had a folder of letters open in front of him. Letters apparently from readers asking for help. He kept looking at one that was dated last June. It seemed to bother him.
Last June?
Yes. I wondered at the time why he kept one 7 months old. I thought his article gave advice to recent people whose problems needed solving immediately.
Yeah, that makes sense. Did you read the letter?
No. Well, I glanced at it. I saw the signature. It was from a woman named Mary. Call it woman's intuition or whatever you like, but I have a feeling his death may have something to do with that letter.
Sounds pretty far-fetched to me. But if it will relieve your mind about your boyfriend, I'll take a look at it. Where is it?
That's just it. When I realized what I'd seen, I came to get it, but I can't find it.
Where did you see it last?
In here. Mr. Stacy had his papers spread out all over this table. Right before he was killed and someone tried to strangle me.
Do you think the murderer took them?
Or hid them. He may not want to risk being seen carrying the briefcase away.
It's worth a shot. I'll start with the bookcase.
I'll check in, this area. Lieutenant, what makes a serial killer do what he does? I mean, how can someone lead a normal life for 20 years or more and suddenly turn into a mass murderer?
Our consultants say such a man has never led a normal life, that the tendencies to kill are there all along. Our doctors say that a particular event can push an unstable personality over the edge. Once he's reached that point, there's no turning back.
But that doesn't stop jurors from putting people like him behind bars, has it?
No. Once we catch them, they're locked up for life, like an animal in a cage.
Good, because that's what they are. Oh, Lieutenant, I found it. I'll show you the letter I was talking about. Here, I'll read it. Dear Mary, I need your help, desperately. I don't know who to turn to. I saw your column in the newspaper and thought, maybe another Mary can help me. My name is Mary too, that's why I'm writing. Mary, I've become terrified of my husband. His behavior has become completely erratic, and he accused me of being unfaithful to him. But I swear I haven't. It's all in his mind. He's become cruel, even vicious, and his rages frighten me. I'm afraid for my life. Don't tell me to report him to the police. I can't. There's a good chance they won't believe me. And not because he's a policeman. Signed, Mary.
You're all alike. You Marys are all alike! That's why I have to keep killing you over and over!
It's you?
I would have finished you off after I killed Mr. Stacy, the man who told my wife to leave me. But that actress Mary medically contrary interrupted me. Another Mary! I want to kill her too. But you're the one I need to kill next. Especially now that that boyfriend of yours has arrived. He can take the blame for your death and for all the other Marys I've sent to their graves. Say goodbye, Mary Bishop. It's your turn to die.
Oh, no, it isn't!
What the? Stop! Stay away from me!
Under arrest.
You're right, Lieutenant McDougal is the Mary murderer.
All I needed was the proof, which I've now got, thanks to you. Sorry I didn't make my move sooner, Mary, but I had to actually hear him say that he had killed all those women, as well as Mr. Stacy.
That's okay. I knew you wouldn't let him hurt me.
I'll just take this. It's all right, no one's been shot. For which I'm grateful to the old craftsmen who built this suit of armor. They couldn't have known that it would need to stop bullets someday.
Isn't she Irish anymore? Oh, I don't understand.
Once you're not the only one.
Herman? Ryan, could you give me a hand here? Thanks.
Kindly tell us what is going on, Miss Adams.
It's Yarborough, Reverend Mother. Pally Yarborough. I'm a sergeant with the Brooklyn Police Department.
Hallie Yarborough? I taught you when you attended St. Helens. I thought you looked familiar.
Indeed you did, sister. Oh, Miss Evans. You were a great teacher, but I was afraid you'd recognize me and blow my cover. What? Let me put the cuffs on our killer here and I'll explain everything.
Killer?
Yes, Lieutenant McDougal is the Mary murderer.
Oh my goodness.
Is he? Oh, don't worry, Miss Evans. He'll be fine. Except when he comes to, I expect he'll have a lump on his head the size of a goose egg. I hit him with a broadsword when he started shooting at me.
He shot at you?
Put him over there.
Yes, when Holly stopped him from trying to strangle me.
Mary?
I'm fine, Ryan. I was the bait in Sergeant Yarborough's trap. He walked right into it.
Here, sit down.
Could someone help me out of this? Why don't the rest of you find a seat?
Miss Yarborough? Is Lieutenant McDougal really a police officer?
Oh, yes. Who knows, perhaps the violent streak inside him led him to a profession where he would be in contact with his own kind. At any rate, several months ago, he began to reveal his darker side to his wife, Mary. In desperation, she wrote a letter to the Just Ask Mary advice column in the New York Times. As we learned tonight, the man who wrote that column was none other than Jerome Stacy.
Did you know that? Is that why you were on the bus?
No, Miss Evans. Lieutenant McDougal's chief suspected that he might have murdered his wife, which he did when she tried to take Mr. Stacy's advice and leave him. Crime statistics show that a murder victim's spouse often is the one who has killed him or her. At any rate, Chief Davis had his suspicions, but no proof. And, as we learned tonight, the man who wrote that column was none other than Jerome Stacy.
Awful. It must have been easy for him to lure his victims someplace secluded. The woman would have no doubt felt safe with the policeman.
Exactly. Chief Davis, who heads the Manhattan Division, called my chief in Brooklyn. He asked that a policewoman from our district, whom McDougal wouldn't know, go undercover as a woman named Mary. She was to find a way to meet McDougal and see if he would make an attempt on her life. My chief chose me for that job.
Wait, so the police made a mousetrap, and you were the big cheese!
In a manner of speaking. We were about to put the plan into motion when Chief Davis called yesterday morning and told me they had just found out that McDougal had bought a bus ticket to Buffalo. The chief worried that McDougal suspected they were onto him and was about to flee to Canada. Luckily, I managed to get on the same bus to keep an eye on him.
I remember! You got onto the bus just as I was about to pull out of the station.
That's right. I had to hustle to catch up with him. As it turned out, he must have discovered that Stacy was the man who wrote the advice column and followed the man intending to kill him. I only wish I had known that at the time. I might have even been able to save his life. As it was, I was trying to set myself up as his target.
Do you suppose Mr. Stacy had any idea that Lieutenant McDougal was the murderer?
He knew it could have been a policeman. When Mary McDougal was murdered, Chief Davis remembered seeing a letter from a Mary in the paper, saying that she was afraid of her husband, who was a cop. Chief Davis called the Times to speak to Just Ask Mary. Stacy took the call. He pretended to be Mary's assistant in order to protect his secret that he actually wrote the column. When asked about the letter, Stacy told the chief that the woman, Mary, had not signed her last name, which is true. So Chief Davis let that clue go. There are plenty of cops in all the New York boroughs with wives named Mary.
When I talked to Mr. Stacy earlier, he seemed quite nervous, afraid even.
It seems that when Lieutenant McDougal introduced himself earlier tonight, Stacy's suspicions might have been aroused.
Especially when he heard about the waitress. Rest her soul.
The letter will be able to be thing by...
Undoubtedly, a handwriting expert will be able to prove that Mary McDougal did write that letter.
I wonder why he didn't turn it over to the police months ago.
Well, Stacy couldn't have been sure that the woman who wrote into his column was the one that was murdered shortly after. After all, even if it had been discovered that Mary McDougal wrote it, that would only prove that she was afraid of her husband, not that he had killed her.
I remember. Mr. Stacy and I were chatting on the bus this afternoon. He said he was going to write a novel. I asked if there'd be a part in it for me if they ever made it a movie version. He said it was going to be a non-fiction work and that he didn't know what the end was quite yet.
The Mary murderer story? He was saving the letter in case the writer was really the killer's first victim.
I'd say that's a good theory. I also found a newspaper clipping about Mary McDougal's murder among Mr. Stacy's things.
So how did my Mary, get involved in all this?
Well, I hadn't exactly expected that there would be another Mary on the bus, but there was. I tried to attract McDougal's interest, but when he seemed drawn to your Mary, I asked her to help. I'm sorry to have exposed you to possible danger, Mary, but without you, we might never have caught him.
You did, and that's the main thing.
I believe I also owe you an apology, Miss Evans.
Me?
Yes. It was I who threw the switch on the circuit breaker earlier, so that I could slip in here in the dark and review Mr. Stacy's papers. When I discovered that he had Mary McDougal's letter with him, I devised a way to confront Lieutenant McDougal with it through Mary Bishop. When you and Mr. Stacy came in, I hid until he left, but then I'm afraid I gave you quite a scare. You fainted before I could take you into my confidence.
It's all right, young lady. I forgive you. It was for a good cause.
We devised the story that I would tell the lieutenant about seeing the incriminating letter in Stacy's papers. And then I found the briefcase where she hid it. When I read it aloud, he snapped.
And he would have made Mary his next victim if you hadn't stopped him.
Part of him was able to function as a detective. He knew that if he killed Mary Bishop, he could easily pin the murder on Ryan or any of the other men here.
He said so himself. He could have even shot you and claimed you were trying to escape.
I think those two are sweet on each other.
Your powers of observation are amazing, as always.
Thank you, dear.
Reverend Mother, I'm sorry to have brought this trouble into your convent.
It was Providence which brought you here.
Like Rhode Island?
What is important is that you have apprehended that poor, sick, disturbed man. As I always say, the Lord works in mysterious ways.
Amen.
If I can get my keys from Lieutenant, I'll drive into town at daybreak and bring the police.
Yeah, Turkey's got my keys too.
And mine. I'll get them. He's not going anywhere except in a police car.
Good. I have a good tomorrow. Yes, I'm so happy. I'm so scared.
Which key belongs to who?
I'll kill him! I'll kill him! I'll kill him! Kill!
Now you got a pair of goose eggs.
Sergeant Yarborough?
No harm done. He just caught me by surprise.
This is gonna have to be a mini-series.
Come on, men. Let's move Lieutenant McDougal here to my room. If he tries anything, I'll sit on him.
And I'll give him a spiky hairstyle for real.
Stay with me.
There's nowhere else I'd rather be.
I won't sleep a wink tonight. I simply must finish writing this all down. Can I heat up some coffee?
Help yourself.
Mary, you were the perfect heroine. I'll play you in the movie version, of course, except Sergeant Yarborough might be considered the lead.
If you play either of those parts, then who will play you, Miss Kincaid?
Exactly. Who else can play me but me? I know. I'll have them use special effects so I can play all the women here tonight. I'm brilliant.
She's going to play me? Over Mother, we must get tea for that. I can't wait to see myself in a size 5 habit. We'll see, Mary Thomas. Right now, I believe we should gather in the chapel and thank the Lord that the merry murders will finally cease.
May I?
I'd like that. You know, we have a very large order here, but not one Mary Apollonia.
It's something to think about.
Just a minute.
Sister, what are you doing?
I just remembered. Your
What?
Christmas present! Pot holders! What a surprise!
You don't have to get them now, Mary Agatha.
Oh, yes, I do. If we're going to pray again, I need to use them.
For what?
Knee pads.
Now that you two lovebirds have made up, I expect you want some time alone. I'll just go upstairs, check on my prisoner, and I'll take your statement later, Mary.
Thank you, Sergeant.
No, thank you for everything. You know, if you should ever consider a career in crime detection, the police force could really use a woman like you.
Really? What do you think, Ryan?
I think
I'm out of here.
that whatever career you choose is fine with me, but for a while, I'd like you to consider one in particular.
Oh, really? What's that?
Being a wife.
Ryan!
Okay, now, I was gonna save this until Christmas, but when I thought of what Lieutenant McDougal could have done to you if you were alone... Here, Mary.
A ring?
I knew you're the girl that I wanted to marry from the moment I met you. So I got a job as a night watchman down at the local factory, working the midnight shift. It's a secret that I've been keeping from you. I used all the money that I saved to buy you that ring. Will you marry me, Mary?
Yes, Ryan, yes.
Here, let me put it on you. I'm not going to tell you how much it costs, but let's just say I haven't let it out of my sight since I bought it.
Oh, it's lovely. I can't believe we're getting married.
What happened?
Either Sergeant Yarborough is giving us some privacy, or the Lord is working in mysterious ways.